This is Gene Monteristilli, and welcome to the Tapping Q&A podcast recorded live to tape from Williamsburg in Brooklyn. This is episode 435, originally aired December 7th, 2011, re-edited and remastered for March 2nd, 2020. Hi, everyone. I hope this finds you well wherever you are and whatever time of day you're getting a chance to listen to this. Thanks for spending some time with me today. Today, we're going to talk about and tap on how you can get more out of your goal list while tapping. And it's not just as simple as tapping with your goal list, though I do think that's really important. Instead, what we do is we unpack a way for you to structure your goal list so you're actually getting more out of the goal list and more out of your tapping with your goal list. This is something that's super critical. I use this all of the time. I have been a huge proponent of goals for a really long time, and I actually revisit mine at least once a week. Before we do that, I want to remind you we have a free 10-part guide on how you can use tapping to eliminate self-sabotage. There are audios, there are videos, there's tapping scripts, there's instructions. Each of the steps is something that you can implement right away in 4 or 5 minutes. We only give you one a day so you are not overwhelmed by all of this content, and it is absolutely free. All you need to do is go to tappingqa.com and click on the big blue button. If you happen to be listening to this right now in the website, just scroll up the right-hand side, click on the blue button. If you're listening to this in your phone, stop the podcast for a second, open your browser, go to tappingqa.com, click on the button so you're not missing any of these amazing free resources. So without any further ado, here is a simple way that you can get more out of your goal list and more out of your tapping and more out of your goal list with tapping. I had a really interesting conversation with one of my clients this week that I thought might be useful in moving forward into this. And I know we have spent some time talking about goal setting before, but I thought it'd be really important this time of year to revisit it and just add some examples and emphasis. When I am creating a goal list, one of the things I found really important to do in stating goals and intentions is stating why I want the particular goal. Because oftentimes the goals that I set are measurable things, because that's what goals are supposed to be, so we know if we're getting to them or not. But they don't explain what I get from that measurable place. You know, I might have an income goal, or I might have a weight goal, or I might have a speed which I'm going to ride 15 miles goal. And these are important things because it helps me to tell if I'm moving forward or not, but it loses some of the context inside of my own life. And so I might have a financial goal of making a certain amount of money every single year, but when I state why I want it, it becomes more real and more tangible. You know, it creates flexibility and the ability to buy a larger house for my family, or to travel the world like I'd like to, or whatever those things that the financial stability gives me. Oftentimes a weight goal isn't really about physical weight, but it's about health and well-being and having energy and being able to move through the day in a way that is painless. Because oftentimes people who are overweight experience pain because the body wasn't built to carry all of that stuff. And so whenever I visit my goal list, I always make sure that I not only read the goal, but I read the why. And there's a really specific reason for this, because it's possible for me to read my goals, lose 15 pounds, make $150,000 next year, and not have it create any fire or any inspiration inside of me. It becomes a really mechanical thing. But it's impossible for me to read the why and not have it kindle excitement and passion and fire to move me forward. Because when I see the why, I see how the transformation happens. And when I see how the transformation happens and the impact it has in my life, then it's easier for me to sit down with the goal list and do the tasks that are hard and are gross and are over my head and whatever it is, because there's lots of resistance. You know, the goal list does not burn off resistance. The reason why I want the change can start to burn off the resistance. And the really important thing to remember, and this is something I just personally keep coming back to again and again and again, is this idea that I don't have to be fearless all of the time. I don't even have to be fearless in this moment. I just need to be fearless-er, like a little less fearful, enough fearless to be able to take the step to make the choice to move forward because it creates this cascade of responses. When I say yes once and try something, and we've talked about this before, is it moves me to a place where I'm able to get caught up in the wake of the cascade of events that comes from that one small choice. And so when I revisit my goal list, and I only do it about once a week, I make sure I tap into that why, because when I read that why and I go, oh, this is how my life becomes better. Oh, this is how it changes. When I connect with that, what it does is it puts me into a space in which I'm able to be fearlesser in the moment, and I'm able to move forward and get past my resistance and take the 2 or 3 steps that I can take today, those pro-me choices that get me moving in a way that will see fruits of transformation and will start moving me towards the goal. The second thing that by understanding the why does with our goals is it helps us to see paths and opportunities that we might have missed if we were only focusing in on that one specific goal. If my goal is to lose 15 pounds, then I get really transfixed on losing 15 pounds. And what I'm going to do is I'm only going to do the things in my life that are going to get me to a place to lose those 15 pounds. But that isn't necessarily moving me towards health, because it's possible. What I really want is I want to lose 15 pounds so that I'm healthier and I have more energy. Now, if I say I want to lose 15 pounds so I'm healthier and I have more energy, what might come across my desk through a note from a friend or something I read on a website is this really awesome breathing exercise at the beginning of the day that energizes me, that helps me to move through the day with energy. Now, if I'm only fixated on losing that certain amount of weight, then I can be in a circumstance where I miss the opportunity to do something else that leads to my goal. Now, I still might want to continue to lose weight because it adds health benefit and it continues to add energy, but by recognizing what the why is, it puts me in a circumstance where I can see other opportunities that move me towards that. And also, it's going to help me steer clear from solutions that aren't doing that, because it's possible for me to lose 15 pounds by just stop eating. I'm just going to stop eating until I lose 15 pounds. I'm going on a hunger strike till I lose 15 pounds. Now, that's going to reduce the weight, but it's not going to reach my goal of being healthier and having more energy, because simply starving my body is not a healthy thing, because the body's going to start draining resources that it needs for other stuff. So when we sit down and write our goals, we need to come up with not only what we want, but why we want it, because it's going to create the fire. And it's going to continue to keep us focused on why we're doing it, which will help us find solutions we weren't looking for and move us forward. And I've come to just kind of realize this in all of my traveling and talking with people. I generally don't care what people want, be it to climb a really tall mountain or to get sweaters or to get a certain job or to go to a certain school. No, that's lovely. What I'm really interested in and what I'm really fascinated by is, why do they want that? Why do they want to spend 40 hours a week on a particular hobby? Why do they spend their lifetime chasing a specific goal? That's where we start to find out what's really interesting about someone, is that why. And so in our own growth and our own development, it's important that we see that we recognize not what we want, but why we want it. Because inside of that, it's going to move us forward. So I hope you find that helpful as we move into reviewing the past year and getting ready to set up for an awesome 2012. Spend a little time figuring it out. Not just what do you want, why do you want it? Who do you want to become? What do you get from it? In naming those things, your actions are going to become easier, resistance is going to melt away, and you're going to be fearless-er enough to make that one choice that creates the cascade of events that rockets you towards that goal that you really want, because it makes your life better, it makes you healthier, and it makes you happier. It is a very, very, very straightforward process. Just by asking that one question about why and really focusing on that makes a huge difference in the action that we take and how we navigate the world. If you know someone in your life who could use something like this, please be our ambassador. It would really mean the world to me if you passed it along.
The most common way someone finds any resources from the recommendation of a friend. And if you have people in your life who are more actively working towards their goal, they're going to be happier, they're going to be healthier, which means it's going to impact your life in a positive way as well. I know that's a little cheesy to say when we help others, we're helping ourselves, but it's true. The more that we continue to heal and transform, the more the people around us are going to reap the benefits of that. And it is reciprocal as well. As our friends, our neighbors, our loved ones transform, the same thing happens. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the podcast. And remember, in podcasting, subscribe is always free. It's not like subscribing to Netflix or Disney Plus where there's a subscription. It's free. And in some platforms, they call it follow. Some they call it subscribe. It really doesn't matter what they do. Call it, but it's important that you do it so you don't miss any episodes. You can find the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, and really everywhere that you find audio online. Deezer, Stitcher, TuneIn, iHeartRadio. The show is all over the place. So wherever you consume audio, just type in Tapping Q&A and you will find the show. Click follow, click subscribe so you don't miss any episodes as they come out. Right now, we're producing 2 episodes a week. And so there's a lot of great content that is just waiting for you. I'd hate for you to miss out on this amazing free transformation. If you have a question or a comment, I can always be reached, Gene, Gene, at tappingqa.com. Or if you're in the website, click the contact link. If you're inside of the free Tapping Q&A app, which is available for both Android and Apple devices, just click on that contact link. You can send an email or a voice memo from right inside of the app. If you haven't downloaded the app yet, it's free. In addition to having access to the entire Tapping Q&A archive of the podcast, there's also over 100 tapping scripts inside of the app. If you click on the text section, you will see those scripts there. So I've taken all of the tap-alongs out of the audios and I've typed them out for you. So you don't even have to listen to the audio. You can just go and tap right away. For the Tapping Q&A podcast, this is Gene Montrestelli. I hope you have a great day, and I will talk to you real soon. Bye-bye. The Tapping Q&A podcast is copyright Gene Montrestelli Tapping Q&A. All views expressed by guests are those of the guests and not necessarily of Gene Montrestelli and Tapping Q&A.